This is Amud Yomi, Gemara in Berachos, Daf Chaf Amud B's. We pick it up from the very bottom of Chaf Amud Aleph as we continue discussing the Chiyuv of Kriya Shema. Says the Mishnah, Nashim va'avodim uketanim peturim mi Kriya Shema. Women, slaves, and children are all patur from Kriya Shema. And as we turn over to Chaf Amud B's, Minat Tefillin. From tefillin, Rashi says, because the stam katan doesn't know how to guard his body to make sure that he does not let out any gas, etc. V'chayavin, but the women, children, and avadim are obligated in betfila, mezuzah, and birkas hamazin. Says the Gemara, Kriya Shema, the fact that they're all patur from Kriya Shema, pshita, mitzvah says shezman gramo, v'chom says shezman gramo, nashim beturais. So what's the chiddush? Of course, a woman is patur. Explains the Gemara. No, I would have thought. What is Kriya Shema? Kriya Shema is accepting upon ourselves the yoke of heaven, the Malchus Shamayim. So you would think, therefore, maybe a woman, a child, an Eved is chayiv, and therefore, furthermore, you would think that it's not considered an entity that has a zman. Kamash Malon, that they're still pater. And the Gemara continues that says Minat Tefillin, that all these entities are pater from Tefillin. Explains the Gemara Pshita. It's obvious that they're pater from Tefillin. That says Tefillin are equated to mezuzah. Therefore, maybe there is an obligation for Tefillin. Kamash Malon, says the Gemara, that they are pater. And of course, the Havamina that is pasha, because they are tefillin are mitzvah seishes man grama. You don't put on tefillin at night. You don't put on tefillin on Shabbos, etc. But nasha avadim and ketanim are chayavim b'tefillah. Why are they obligated in tefillah? Says Gemara deracham hey ninhu, because tefillah is rachmanas. We're 8 lines down. Chaf amid beis. The first one in line is ninhu. Says the Gemara. Pshita on the side they throw. No, not pshita. Says the Gemara, Ma'udetema, I would have thought, since it says you have to daven morning, noon, and afternoon, it's similar to a mitzvah seishes man grama dami, and therefore, Nasha Avadim Uktan would be pater, and they are obligated. And then we said the women Avadim and slaves are chayiv in mezuzah. Says Mar Pshita. Of course, women are obligated in mezuzah. Why? Because there's no time. Mezuzah is you always have to have a mezuzah on your door. Explains the Gemara. I would have thought the Talmud Torah. The Torah equates mezuzah to Talmud Torah, as Rashi says. And next door it says v'chsaftem. So we think just like Talmud Torah, a woman is pater, even though there's no zman for Talmud Torah. So too, a woman is pater from mezuzah. Kamashlan that she is chayiv. Ubebirkas hamazin. Next to the Mishnah that they're obligated in Berachos Hamazon, says the Gemara again, Pshita. Berachos Hamazon doesn't have any time. Explains the Gemara, since the pasuk says, in the evening, Hashem gives you meat to eat and bread in the morning. So therefore it says, lechem ba-boiker. So what would you have thought? Kamash Malon, that it is not. And that's basically the Mishnah, that women are obligated in tefillah, tefillam and mezuzah and birchas hamazon, but they're pater in Kriya Shema and tefillin. Says the Gemara, we're 13 lines down. The first one line is grama, the 2 dots. Woman is chayiv in kiddush on Shabbos. Midday Araisa. Now, Kiddush and Shabbos over here, of course, means Friday night. And Rashi says, why? Because it says in the Torah, Zachar es yom HaShabbos leikadshai, which means Zachreu aliyayit. Asks the Gemara, why is she chayav? 1 second. If it's on Friday night, that makes it a mitzvah say, Shezman Gramo. V'chom say Shezman Gramo nashim b'tureis. It's true that the woman will be pater midaraisa, but she's chayiv midarabanan in kiddush. Amalei Rava asked Rava back to Abaye about the Torah kamar. It said midaraisa, so can you tell me a man midarabanan? Rava said midaraisa. Void, and furthermore, come to say nechayavinu midarabanan, and furthermore asks the Gemara, come to say nechayavinu midarabanan. if you're telling me that there is a chiyuv derabanan on kiddush, so that should be by all mitzvahs. Say kiddush is seemingly the quintessential mitzvah stages man grama. Zochres yoyim hashabos likachay. So if they're chayiv in kiddush, they should be chayiv in everything else. So says the Gemara, it must mean that women are chayiv midaraisa. So what's pshat? Why are they chayiv deraisa if the mitzvah stages man grama? Elo Amar Rava, rather Rava explains Amar Cross says the Torah, Zachar Vishamar. For there, what do we learn out? Kol Yeshlei b'Shmira, Yeshlei b'Schira. Whoever is included in the Shmira Shabbos are included in the Zechira Shabbos, and therefore, Vani Nashi and women Hayol V'Snayo b'Shmira. Of course, they have to watch Shabbos. They're obligated in all the mitzvahs, say all the negative commandments. Therefore, it's Nayo b'Schira. They're going to be included in the Schira Shabbos as well. And that is the reason why, now we understand the Rava Brava Seimin, why a woman is chayiv in Kiddush, midde araisa, which we're learning out from Zachar Vishamar. Continues the Gemara, Ravina L'Rava, smack in middle of Chafam Beis. First one in line is L'Rava, says Ravina to Rava, Nashim Berachos 20b, D'Araisa, Oy D'Rabanan. What's the status of women in benching? The Mishnah said they're obligated. So Ravina asked Rava, is this a din d'Araisa or is this a din d'Rabban? Lamai nafkamina, says the Gemara, who cares? Lafugi ram de chayvasan, to be yoitze, to be moitzi someone else. If women are obligated on the biblical level, therefore us d'Araisa might be d'Araisa, then they can be mighty someone else. If it's only a chiv d'Rabbanan, then on the biblical d'Araisa level, they're not obligated. So says the Gemara, my, what is the din? Tashema, says the Gemara, Be'emes amru. Says the Gemara, Be'emes amru ben mevarich laviv ben mevarich l'rabbi. We quote a brisa, trying to figure out, is the obligation of women in benching d'Araisa or d'Rabbanan? Explains the Gemara, ben mevarich laviv ben mevarich l'rabbi. A child who's a katan could be mevarich, could bench for his father. An eved, a slave, could bench for his master. Ve'isha mivareches labaylo. The three people in our Mishnah, says the Brisa explicitly, they could indeed bench for their counterparts. Aval amru chachamim. But say Chazal, Tavo elav me'ira, a curse should come la'adam sheishta yivanim mevarchen lai, someone that needs his wife and children to bench for him. So says the Gemara, if you're going to tell me that a woman, an evident and slave, have an obligation d'Araisa to bench, then I understand. Asi d'Araisa, mapik d'Araisa. Then it makes sense that they could be yoitze, the husband, the child, the master. Why? Because the obligation d'Araisa of the child, of the slave, of the woman, is might see their counterparts d'Araisa. Aliyama d'Rabanan. If you're going to tell me it's a din d'Rabanan, Asi d'Rabanan, umabik d'Araisa, how could that be? So proves the Gemara for this brisa must be that they all have a chiyuv d'Araisa. Says the Gemara back, no raya. According to your reasoning, katan bar chiyuvu. Are you going to tell me a katan bar chiyuva? Of course not. It's a child. Ella, so rather, how are you going to have to explain it? You're going to have to explain this brisa because it's simple that a katan can't have a chiyuv d'Araisa. So it must be that the father, the husband, or the master only ate an obligation d'Rabanan. They didn't eat kedei sevia. They didn't eat enough food to satiate themselves. So they're only obligated to bench on the d'Rabanan level, and therefore us d'Rabanan, mabik d'Rabanan. Therefore, we don't have a raya from this brisa, and therefore the Gemara concludes that it could be. The Gemara has a little bit of a cliffhanger over here, lots and lots of raid, of kivagers, etc. But the Gemara over here concludes it could be that the obligation of a woman to bench is only a din d'Rabanan. And we wrap up today's share. We're just going to get to the Mishnah. Says the Gemara, Darish of Avira, Zimnin Amrli Mesheder Avami, Zimnin Amrli Mesheder Avas, Amru Malachei Yashar Zanei HaKadosh Baruch. a fascinating entity about Klal Yisrael. Rabbeinu Shalaylam. Kesef Esayraschcha says in her Torah, Shalisa Panam Lika Sheichat, that you Hashem don't take favor and you don't accept bribes. V'alater Noisei Panam Li Yisrael. But the Malachim say to Hashem, you do show favor to Klal Yisrael. There's Sef, it says Hashem Panam Elecha. You show favor to Klal Yisrael. So the Malachim ask Hashem, how can it be? Explains Hashem, Amr Lahem, Klal Yisrael Esel Panam Li Yisrael. How can I not? Shekesavti lem b'Torah, what I write for them. V'achalta v'zavata v'irachta Hashem lakecha. Says Hashem, I wrote. They only have to bench if there's K'dei Sevilla, if there's Sishish, and yet they medaktikin al atzman ad kebeya Concise like kebeya. They're medaktik on themselves, and they bench even if it's not a K'dei Sevilla. Says Hashem, such beautiful children who are machmir. How can I not show favor to them? Absolutely incredible. We'll pick it up from the Mishnah on the next year. B'siyata Dishmaya.